A new energy is coming. These signs prove you're about to receive it. There are moments in life where something stirs deep in your being. You can feel it not in your thoughts, not even in your emotions, but in the space between your heartbeats. A kind of inner trembling, a shift, a pulse that doesn't belong to this version of you, but to something greater just beyond your current reach. You can't explain why suddenly the world feels different. The sky looks the same. The people around you haven't changed, but you have. Something invisible is moving through your field, brushing against your soul, gently but undeniably saying, "Prepare yourself. A new energy is coming." And if you're here now, listening, feeling this, then I already know you felt it too. Maybe you've noticed that the things that used to drain you now disgust you. Maybe you've started waking up at strange hours, or your body is craving silence, nature, isolation, or even creative chaos. Maybe you've lost interest in conversations that once held your attention, or you're suddenly flooded with nostalgia, dreams, intuitive flashes, or strange synchronicities that feel too precise to be coincidence. These are not random. These are signs, indicators that something is aligning in the unseen, preparing to flood into your reality in ways you can't yet imagine.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
I've seen this happen over and over, and each time, those who are about to receive this new energy go through the same sequence. It's not always comfortable, it's rarely linear, but it is always sacred. Because this energy doesn't just arrive to make you feel good. It arrives to upgrade you, to rewire your frequency, to stretch your capacity for truth, for creation, for power. And before the breakthrough, there is always a breaking, a shedding, a quiet, internal death of the old self, the old timeline, the old identity that can no longer hold what the soul is ready to receive. So let's talk about the first sign, the strange sense of disconnection. You're not depressed, but you're also not interested in the old ways. You find yourself pulling away without knowing why. You cancel plans. You crave solitude. You're not trying to isolate, but your spirit is orchestrating a kind of energetic quarantine because it knows what's coming. When a new energy is about to enter your life, your field begins to cleanse. You might feel physically tired, emotionally raw, or mentally overstimulated. This is not burnout. This is a recalibration. Your system is making space, and space, my friend, is sacred. Never mistake the void as a punishment. It is the womb of the new frequency. Then there's the second sign, emotional surges that make no logical sense. One moment you're calm, the next you're crying. You feel grief, anger, ecstasy, nostalgia, sometimes all in the same day. This is because energy moves first through your emotional body. The new energy cannot land in a system clogged with suppressed emotions. So your soul begins a purge, and it doesn't care whether you're ready or not. It will use anything, a memory, a song, a stranger's glance to crack you open. Because once you're cracked, the light can enter. And when the light enters, the new energy follows. But here's the part people often miss. This energy isn't coming from outside of you. It's coming through you. You are not receiving something foreign. You are activating something forgotten. This is your original blueprint rising to the surface, your ancient codes reawakening. You are not evolving into someone new, you are returning to who you were before the world told you who to be. And in that return, you'll feel the third sign, a strange urgency, like time is speeding up, like something is about to happen, but you don't know what. You feel it in your bones. You might not even be able to sleep. Your dreams become more vivid. Your senses more heightened. You're not imagining it. You're syncing with the rhythm of your soul's expansion. You're aligning with a higher timeline that is ready to collapse into this one. And this is where things get mystical. Because the fourth sign is the arrival of synchronicities that are too precise to ignore. You think of someone and they call. You say a word and it appears in a book or on a billboard. You see repeating numbers, animals, symbols, messages that seem to speak directly to you. This is the language of the new energy. It speaks in symbols. It aligns in patterns. It guides without words. Are you paying attention? Are you interpreting the signs? Or are you brushing them off as accidents? Because once you begin to respond to the signs, you engage the energy. You give it permission to accelerate. And then, the final sign, the one that truly confirms you're on the brink of receiving this energy, is a deep, undeniable inner knowing. A sense that you're being prepared for something big, even if you can't name it. Even if no one else can see it, you know. And this knowing is not intellectual. It is cellular. It lives in your body. It speaks through your intuition. It whispers in your silence. And the more you trust it, the more it grows. The more it grows, the more you align. And the more you align, the faster the energy comes in. But here's the most powerful truth. This energy doesn't arrive all at once. It trickles in. It tests you. It watches how you treat the little upgrades. Because if you mishandle the small shifts, if you doubt them, reject them, or sabotage them, you delay the arrival of the full activation. You have to match the energy in order to receive it. And that means living as if it's already here, acting from your future self. Speaking, moving, deciding from the level you know you are being called to embody. That is the sacred contract. That is the initiation. The universe doesn't respond to who you pretend to be. It responds to who you become in every moment. So the question is, are you becoming the version of you who can hold what's coming? Are you making room, or are you still clinging to what needs to go? Are you waiting for a sign, or are you realizing you are the sign? Frequency rebirth, why your old life is collapsing to make room for the upgrade. There's a moment in every awakening where the ground beneath your feet begins to dissolve. Things fall apart. People leave. Plans unravel. What you thought was solid suddenly becomes liquid. And in that moment, you might panic. You might think everything is going wrong, that you've made a mistake, or that the universe is punishing you. But listen closely, this is not destruction. This is design. The old life isn't collapsing because you're failing. It's collapsing because a higher frequency can no longer be anchored into structures built on lower vibrations. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. The new energy that's coming into your life isn't just a gentle breeze, it's a force. And forces don't whisper softly into the background of your comfort zone. They come to reconstruct you from the inside out. Your old life, the one built on outdated beliefs, unconscious trauma, and survival mode behaviors, simply cannot hold what's coming. That life was built to protect you when you didn't know your power. But now, that protection has become a prison. Your soul knows it. That's why the dismantling feels so personal. Because it is. The frequency you're about to receive demands purity, not perfection, but alignment. And anything not built in truth must go. So what does this collapse look like for most? It starts with discomfort. You begin to feel out of place in your own life. The job that once felt secure now drains you. The relationship that helped you grow now suffocates you. The routines that kept you grounded now feel like cages. Your intuition gets louder. Your tolerance for the inauthentic gets shorter. And then, slowly or suddenly, the universe begins to echo your internal truth with external events. The job ends. The person walks away. The contract falls through. The plans fall apart. And while your mind may scream in fear, your soul exhales in relief. Because even if it hurts, even if you don't yet understand, you can feel that it's right. You are not losing your life. You are shedding your skin. And just like the snake that outgrows its scales, the process is raw, vulnerable, confusing, but necessary. Because you cannot receive a new reality while clinging to the blueprint of the old one. And if you're honest, you've felt this coming for a while. Haven't you? That quiet inner knowing that something no longer fits. That the life you built was missing something vital you. Not the masked version of you. Not the socially acceptable, emotionally filtered, spiritually diluted version, but you in your full, radiant, uncontainable truth. This is where the rebirth begins, not in a flash of light, but in the ashes, in the silence that follows the collapse, in the sacred in-between where you're no longer who you were, but not yet who you're becoming. This is the void, and it is holy. Most people try to escape it. They rush to rebuild. They try to replace the gone with the familiar. But those who are truly ready for the upgrade, they wait. They breathe. They trust. Because they know that the void is not emptiness. It is potential. It is the womb of the next version of their life. And if they can hold that space with presence, the new energy flows in without resistance. But here's something you need to understand deeply. This isn't just about changing your life circumstances. This is about calibrating your frequency to the version of reality you've been asking for. And that version already exists. It's not in the future. It's in a higher vibrational layer of the now. And to access it, you don't need to do more. You need to become more aligned. You need to stop trying to control the outcome and start synchronizing your energy with the outcome that already wants to find you. You don't manifest from willpower, you manifest from resonance. And resonance begins with release. So what are you still holding on to? What are you still trying to fix that was meant to fall apart? What identities are you clinging to that no longer reflect your soul? The universe doesn't ask you to let go to punish you. It asks you to let go so your hands are free to receive. And when you begin to release with trust instead of resistance, you become magnetic to your next timeline. Things begin to flow. People show up who feel like soul recognition. Opportunities arise that seem orchestrated by something beyond logic. You're not lucky, you're aligned. And when this alignment deepens, you realize something even more profound: you were never broken. The life that's collapsing isn't proof of failure. It's proof that you've outgrown the old version of yourself. That's why it hurts. Because growth often looks like destruction before it feels like liberation. You're not falling apart. you're falling into place. And this is your sacred moment to choose. Will you let the collapse define you or refine you? Will you attach to what was or align with what's becoming? Ask yourself this now. If everything in your life was preparing you for this rebirth, how would you treat your current chaos differently? What if the breakdowns are not signs to retreat, but invitations to rise? The new energy is not coming to reward you for your suffering. It's coming because you're ready. Not perfect, not fully healed, but willing. Willing to let go, willing to trust, willing to receive. And that willingness, that surrender, is the exact frequency that unlocks the next level. The embodiment phase, living as if the upgrade has already arrived. But there comes a point in the spiritual journey where waiting becomes a trap. You've felt the shifts. You've watched the old life fall away like ash in the wind. You've cried, surrendered, and let go of everything that no longer fits. But now it's time to embody, to stop waiting for the new energy to arrive like a lightning strike and start living as though it's already here. Because it is. The energy you've been calling in doesn't land when you think you're ready. It arrives the moment you become it. And the only way to become it is to live from it now. This is the phase where many get stuck. They've done the inner work. They've cleared, healed, released. But they're still waiting for permission, and for a sign, for the reality to change before they change their behavior. But the truth is, your external world is never the initiator, it's the mirror. You don't wait for life to show you who you are. You show life who you've decided to be. And that decision is energetic. It's not about faking it. It's about aligning with the frequency of your higher self so fully that the universe has no choice but to rearrange around you. Ask yourself, what does the version of me who already has the upgrade do differently? How do they speak? How do they spend their time? Who do they surround themselves with? What do they tolerate? What do they release? This is not a mental exercise. This is a blueprint. Your future self is not some distant fantasy. It's a frequency, one that already exists in the quantum field. And the only way to access it is to match it. That's embodiment. It's not about perfection. It's about congruence. Every thought, every action, every intention becomes a declaration. I am no longer waiting. I am living it now. But let's be honest, this isn't easy. Because the mind will resist. It will say, but nothing's changed yet. It will point to the bank account, the relationship status, the circumstances, and say, you're delusional. And this is where your mastery is forged. Because embodiment is not about reacting to what is, it's about committing to what will be, even when it defies logic. Especially when it defies logic. This is the leap, the void between the old and the new. And only those who dare to live as if will ever get to live as is. So how do you begin? You start small. You observe your patterns. You notice where you're still acting from your past self, where you're still shrinking, still doubting, still seeking validation. And you interrupt the pattern. You ask, is this action aligned with the version of me I'm becoming? If it's not, you shift. You recalibrate. You choose again. And you keep choosing over and over until it becomes your new default. Until embodiment is no longer a practice, but a state of being. This is the phase where you must become radically honest with yourself. Where are you still outsourcing your power? Where are you still hoping someone or something outside of you will save you, prove your worth, deliver your destiny. The new energy you've been calling in doesn't work that way. It doesn't care about your potential. It responds to your embodiment. Embodiment says, I already am. I already have. I already know. And from that place, you magnetize everything you've been waiting for, not because you need it, but because you become the version of you who naturally attracts it. There's a secret here that most won't tell you. Embodiment feels awkward at first. It feels like pretending, like you're playing a role that doesn't quite fit. But that discomfort, that's the old self dying. That's your nervous system recalibrating to a new identity. But you're not faking it, you're forging it. You're training your body, your mind, your energy to hold a new frequency. And yes, it will feel unfamiliar. But unfamiliar is not unsafe. It's just new. And new is exactly what you've been asking for. Start showing up differently. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Set boundaries that honor your future self, even if they disappoint your past connections. Create, even when no one is watching. Move your body like it's already healed. Make decisions like you already trust yourself. Love like you've never been broken. That's embodiment. It's not about waiting for the proof. It's about becoming the proof. And when you do, the universe will respond in kind, not because you forced it, but because you are it. This is where the magic lies, not in the manifestation techniques, not in the rituals or the waiting, but in the willingness to live your truth before anyone else validates it. That's power. That's sovereignty. That's how the new energy becomes not just something you feel, but something you are. And when you become it, your entire reality shifts to match. So ask yourself with full honesty and no judgment, what would change if I truly believe the upgrade has already arrived? How would I move, speak, choose, and live? And if I'm not doing that yet, why not? Quantum arrival, why you were chosen to receive this energy now. There's a reason this energy is arriving now, not before, not later now. And there's a reason it's arriving to you. Not because you're special in the way the ego wants to be special, but because your soul made a vow long before this incarnation. You didn't come here just to survive, to tick boxes, to exist in the loop of repetition. You came here to remember, to awaken, to stretch the edges of consciousness itself by embodying what others have forgotten. And now, in this moment, in this exact frequency of time and space, the energy that matches that vow is arriving. Not randomly, not as a fluke, but because you're ready to carry it. This energy is intelligent. It doesn't move toward resistance. It doesn't waste itself on those still clinging to old stories. It moves where it's invited, where it's made room for. And you, whether through pain, choice, or divine chaos, have made that room. You've cleared space through heartbreak, through letting go, through surrendering the parts of yourself that were never really you. That's why it's coming now, because your field is finally open enough to hold it. And not just hold it passively, but channel it, amplify it, become it. You were chosen because you chose yourself. Again and again, even when it was hard. Even when it felt like no one saw you. Even when your path made no sense to those around you. You kept going. You kept listening to the quiet knowing. You kept honoring the whispers that said, there's more. There's something else. Keep trusting. That trust is what aligned you with this moment. That trust is the currency of quantum timelines. Because in the quantum, it's not about time, it's about readiness. It's about resonance. And your vibration right now is matching a stream of energy that holds everything you've been calling in, not just for yourself, but for the collective. This wave of energy isn't just personal, it's planetary. You're not receiving it just to improve your life. You're receiving it to anchor something in the grid of human consciousness, to embody a new possibility, to show others what it looks like to live free, to live awake, to live in harmony with your soul. That's why you felt so different your whole life. That's why you never quite fit, because you weren't made to conform, you were made to transmit. You are a living antenna tuned to frequencies most people have forgotten how to feel. And now, those frequencies are pouring into this dimension, and you're one of the vessels. But here's the most important thing. This energy does not make your life easier. It makes your life truer. And truth isn't always comfortable. It will ask you to shed the final layers of illusion. It will ask you to walk away from what still tempts your ego but starves your soul. It will ask you to hold your power without needing to prove it. Because this is not about status. This is about service. Not servitude, but sacred service. The kind that comes from overflow, but from living in such deep alignment that your very existence becomes a transmission. So, what do you do now? Knowing this, you stay open, you stay grounded, you stay devoted. This is not the time to rush, to force, or to grasp. This is the time to listen to your body, to your dreams, to the subtle signs that guide your next step. The energy is here. You don't need to chase it. You just need to match it. With your truth, with your choices, with your presence. And presence is the portal. It always has been. You were chosen because you remember, even if only in fragments, that you are more than flesh and thought. You are a multidimensional being, encoded with light, seeded with purpose. And while the world tells you to shrink, to doubt, to wait, you are being asked to expand, and to know, to act from the quantum truth that everything you desire already exists, and your job now is to let it land. So breathe, receive, walk lightly but boldly, speak only what's real, move with reverence but with fire. The arrival is not coming, it's already here, and you were always meant to meet it.